Thinking of cutting my locks, man. Moving into the next stage of my life. Anyway, good evening, people. Um, Good late night because it's 11:26 Pacific Standard Time. I'm still up. Um, so earlier I posted something on my social media, both Instagram and Facebook. I was looking for conversation, and I guess people are always scared to put in their 2 cents in controversial topics that I put out. It's not your fault. Excuse me. Anyway, the post that I put out on my Instagram and on social media was most modern day men already know that if they don't have it, they have to get it or live without it. That's being most men. I'm not saying all men, but majority of men who understand what it is to be a man. I've always believed everything that I've achieved in life, I had to go out there and take it. I had to go out there and work hard. Nobody gave me anything. You have to go out there with violence. And when I say violence, I don't mean physical violence where you hurt somebody. You have to go out there with violence, that violent mindset to take what's yours. Because if you just there and fold your hands and like, look at me, oh, poor me, nobody's gonna give you anything. First rule of nature is self-preservation. It's true in the animal kingdom, it's true with human beings. What is it that you people don't understand? People have people have gone further from the idea that human beings are not like animals. We are animals. Just because when I mean animals, we are animals, and in the category of animals, we are mammals. First things and foremost, the same laws that apply in the jungle applies to us. Just because we live in cities with concrete buildings and roads and airplanes and cars and social media and the internet and all this, that just our ecosystem. The ecosystem, the rules of the ecosystem did not change. The rules of the ecosystem did not change. Our environment changed. Our environment changed, but the rules of the ecosystem did not change. The rules of the ecosystem did not change. Quote me, this is my word. I need to patent this stuff. Today is September 17th, 2021, 11:29. I did say the rules of the ecosystem that applies to the animal kingdom in the jungle does not change with humans. You guys can bring in religion and bring in modern philosophy and bring in all this stuff. It is what it is. It does not change. In my 40 years of life and most of my experience, it still applies. Human being live in antithesis of natural order, and I keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying natural order all day. That's my word. Natural order. How do I define natural order? Natural order is the order of creation by nature, whether it's supreme being or what we find in nature on how we live and survive. That's my definition. I just made that shit up. Natural order by nature, whether it's supreme being, and I say supreme being because people like to believe there's some entity, and I do believe that there's some supreme entity, or in nature, must follow certain rules for self-preservation. It is true in the jungle and it is true in the concrete jungle. We live in the concrete jungle. Anyway, um, now that I got that out of the way, um, so I posted something on my social media, And this is what I said. I said most modern day men already know that if they do not have it, they either need to go get it or live without. Us men, we understand that law, we understand that rule is naturally ingrained in us. When we are young toddlers, we understand it. By the time I was 4, 5, I started understanding myself as a man, even though I was a child. Nobody holds the man's hands. Nobody holds the man's hands. The man has to go get it or leave it out or find a way to adjust and survive. The first rule of nature is self preservation. That's why we have all these isms today, whether it's racism, tribalism, ethnicism, all kinds of isms that create divides in the human society, in our social interactions. Okay. Then I went on to say most modern day women understand that if they don't have it, they expect someone or the government to give or provide it to them. That's just facts. Why do you think we have the democratic progressive wing of the party with all these liberal social policies that is wrecking the country? I've always voted Democrat, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I've contributed to the problem. The problem with American politics is two extremes. The right are two extremes and the left are two extremes. It's either extreme liberal left ideas or extreme conservative right ideas. The people in the middle have no say. I would like to consider myself as the middle. I grew up with conservative ideas when I was a young child in Nigeria, growing up in the Christian family. This was when my father was a Christian, my mother was a Christian. My dad ended up leaving the Christian religion, but my mom's still a Christian. So I grew up with those ideas and I had Christian ideas, but then I had to have a lot of questions because one thing with the Christian idea, conservative ideas, it locks you in without asking questions. But one thing with the progressive idea, it tends to lean all the way or extreme left. Then it makes me scary. Then I have to fear for the future of my children. Okay. But anyway, so I went on to say modern day women understand that if they don't have it, they expect someone or the government to give or provide it to them. Look, I'm not against welfare or the welfare state. The welfare state has been abused so bad that people are paying the price for it, mostly men, mostly heterosexual men, mostly heterosexual black men. I'm not saying other races are not paying for it, they are, but it's prevalent in the black community as far as the United States is concerned. We can all blame this to the rise of feminism because when the feminism came in, the first wave, there's four waves of feminism. I'm not going to go into that, but the first wave of feminism, I do agree with the first wave of feminism where it gives women equal right to participate in government and politics as far as holding government positions and holding offices. I'm all for that. I'm all for um, you know, pay equality. If the woman is doing the same job that a man is doing and producing the same outcomes, if not better, she should be even paid more. She should pay the same or even more. But let's just face it, most of the occupations in the world today that women take are not manly occupations like beach digging and power firefighting jobs and very very physical mundane type occupations. Most women are not in those occupations. They're in the office. Most women are in occupations such as social work. In social work, what did they really do? other. I'm not talking about the hospital social work. I'm talking about the social welfare social workers. They're part of the problem. But I digress, and I don't want to go out of scope of my conversation. I'm here to defend my post because I didn't just spill out something because Odinga is hurt. Because I'm going through. Yes, I'm going through a lot of things, and I'm seeing things, and I must bring some personal. I don't. I'm trying to. I'm trying to bring, spark a conversation without being biased, but there's always going to be a little bit of bias because of my personal experiences, and I have to consider that. Um, I'm hoping that I can get on some interview in somebody podcast and I can say things freely because if I come on to my platform, to my channel, and start saying things, it's gonna just look like Odune is hurt and he's just letting loose and blah 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 blah. No, I've been over that. I've lived the hurt. I've gotten over it. But then, how will I convey what I perceive is true? And even if I'm conveying what I perceive is true, that sounds biased. That is why I like to use facts to back my arguments. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. The purpose of my videos that I put out is not to convince anybody, it's just for people to think. I'm here to stimulate minds. You can think and agree with me, and you can think and not agree with me, and that's fine. I'm not here to be right or wrong. But if I see what is true, I must speak on it, regardless if it was my personal experience or it's not my personal experience. So, in order to back up my post, I'm going to talk about Daniel Pat Moynihan. I've always talked about him, the Moynihan report, on my Instagram post. My plan is to do a short video. I'm already at 12 minutes. Um, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, March 16, 1937, passed away in March 26th, 10 days after his birthday in 2003, an American politician, sociologist, and diplomat. A member of the Democratic Party, he represented New York in the United States Senate and served as an advisor to the Republican President Richard Nixon. He was a Democrat who served as an advisor to a Republican president. Okay. Born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Moynihan moved at a young age to New York following a stint in the Navy. He's a Navy veteran. He earned his PhD in history from Tufts University, I think that's in Philly. He worked on staff of New York Governor W. Averell Harriman before joining President John F. Kennedy's administration in 1961. He served as an assistant secretary of labor under Kennedy and President Lyndon B. Johnson, devoting much of his time to the war on poverty. In 1965, he published the controversial Moynihan Report. The Moynihan left Johnson administration in 1965 and became a professor in Harvard. Moynihan left Johnson administration in 1965 and became a professor at Harvard University. Anyway, that's just a brief bio on the late Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. He was a great American, a great senator. Even though he leaned Democrat, he walked across the aisle. Okay. So he created a report, and I'm not going to go into the report because one of the reasons I've delayed the video on doing this, on scalping the Moynihan report, because I don't really have time. So I had to look for a way to get the summary of his report, and I think I got something that really made sense. So the Moynihan sees us the importance of two parents in a household. Okay. Ooh, my throat is dry. In the mid 1960s, the social scientists noticed something ominous. Bah, in the mid 1960, a social scientist noted something ominous that came to be called the Moynihan scissors, right? The report is accurate in today's modern day era. The scissors are two lines on a graph, cross replicating blades of scissors, the Moynihan scissors. If you know, if you guys are familiar with statistics or graphs, you have your x-axis and your y-axis. So there's in his study, his report represented the x-axis and the y-axis crossing each other, forming the scissors. It's called the Moynihan scissors. Okay. So the two line graphs cross replicating the blades of the scissors. The descending line charted, the descending line, that's the line that is coming down on the graph. If you understand statistics, if you did graphs in school, I don't know how many of you guys are sophisticated in graphs and statistics. The descending line charted the decline in minority male unemployment. It's coming down it's coming down like this, right? On male unemployment. Male unemployment is coming down. The ascending line charted the simultaneous rise of welfare going up. It's going up like this, forming the scissors. Welfare, male unemployment. Welfare going up, male unemployment coming down. Scissors. The broken correlation of improvement is unemployment and decrease in welfare dependency, shattered confidence in the social salvation through economic growth, reduced barriers to individual strive. Perhaps the decisive factors in combating poverty and enabling upward mobility were not economic but cultural. So, as male unemployment was going up, welfare, as male unemployment was going up, welfare was going up, male unemployment was coming down. Okay. So the Moynihan and his scholars thought that it had to do with economy or economic factors at the time, but it was actually cultural. What is cultural? Culture has to do with prevalent behaviors with a group of people. I can't believe I'm teaching sociology, man. I should be a professor, man. I should be getting paid for this. You guys should go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and like. Okay, I'm trying to make it big out here. Anyway, so um, the habits, mores, and disposition that equip individuals to take advantage of opportunities. Let me repeat that. Perhaps the decisive factors in combating poverty and enabling upward mobility. What is upward mobility? Rise in economic status of an individual or a family or group of individuals, depending on how you want to define it, right? These were not economic but cultural. The habits, mores, disposition that equip individuals to take advantage of opportunities. This was dismaying because government know how to alter incentives and remove barriers, but not how to manipulate culture. So government know how to manipulate economic factors. They do that through banks, whether it's increasing interest rates or reducing interest rates, whether it's intervening in private sector or letting the private sector run at free market forces. I'm very good in economics. My dad was a professor of economics. I read economics in secondary school, still have that knowledge to this very day. Wow, 19 minutes. Anyway, the assumption that conditions of the poor must improve as macroeconomic conditions improve was to be refuted by deepening understanding cultural role of the family as a primary transmitter of social capital essential for self-reliance and betterment. Family structure is the primary predictor of social outcome. All these single mother families, baby mama families, single women families, Ladies, men with multiple baby mamas just going out here living your best life and slanging dicks, and you guys are just having babies by cookies and ray rays. That's what he's talking about. No structure, no discipline. You know what? I don't want to come off like I'm bashing my own culture or the people that share my reflection. But this is serious, people. It's very serious. I might be a little voice trying to make a change, but I'm gonna do my best. Okay. Anyway, um, where did I stop? I got excited a little bit. The assumption that the condition of poor must improve as macroeconomic conditions improve was to be refuted by deepening understanding of the crucial role of the family as a primary transmitter of social capital, essential for self-reliance and betterment. Family structure is the primary predictor of social outcome, as Daniel Patrick Moynihan knew in 1965. This was during the rise of civil rights movement. The civil rights movement brought a lot of things. What happened in the civil rights movement was the March for Black Equality in the United States of America. With the March of Equality for Blacks in the United States of America brought a lot of other movement, LGBTQ, feminist movement. It was a whole bunch of people that took opportunity of that movement to push the agenda forward. 50 years ago this month, Moynihan, then 37 years old, social scientist working in the Labor Department, wrote a report, The Negro Family, the Case for National Action, that was leaked in July. The crisis he discerned was that 23.6% of African American births were to unmarried women. This was 50 years ago, 23.6. Right now it's 69.4, pretty much 70%. Okay. Among the tangible Among the tangle of pathologies, he associated the absence of fathers. He associated the absence of fathers was continually renewed cohort in inadequate social adolescent males. That's the problem right there. This is what I wrote. The absence of fathers in the house. Women chose the check over having a father in the house because they had a child support check and welfare check. Child support is a $51 business in a $51 billion business in America. It's even more. And now we'll go into that topic. Okay. Ooh, this is really interesting. Oh, shoot, 23 minutes. This is going to be a long video. I'm tired of shit. Let me see what's going on. Give me a second. I'm on the momentum. All right. This meant dangerous neighborhoods. Okay, let me go back to the last sentence. 50 years ago this month, Moynihan, then a 37-year-old social scientist working in the Labor Department, wrote a report, The Negro Family, the Case for National Action, that was leaked in July. The crisis he discerned, he was concerned, was 23.6% of African Americans. He fucking said African Americans were unmarried women. Among the tangle of pathologies, he associated the absence of fathers was a continual renewed cohort as inadequate socialized adolescent males. This meant dangerous neighborhoods and schools where discipline displaced teaching. He would later write, a community that allows a large number of young men to grow up in broken families, dominated by women, never acquiring any stable relationship to male authority. That community asks for and get chaos. I just said that. It was a study. The study is true today in the Black community. That line alone Gives me chills. I need a drink. I'm getting goosebumps. That line alone is what we see in the black community. That line alone is what's the problem. Why am I talking about this? Because my sons are going to grow up into this mess. Our children are going to grow up inheriting our mistakes. These mistakes started with the baby boomers generation. It didn't even start with us. It's a cycle. How do we break this cycle, people? When are we going to be structured and disciplined like other groups? And I'm not saying other groups in America, like other groups in the world on this blue planet. We are out of order. We are moving against natural order. I don't care. You as a single female, you have your house, you have your Mercedes Benz, you have a $100,000 job. It's going to catch up with you. There is a study that shows that women in the workforce are getting sicker every day. It used to be that men will go out to work and, plant the fields and gather and hunt and bring those bounties back. And women are back home to take care of the children. Men will be the one to protect their communities and go to war. Right? How do marriages happen? The warrior family married the farming family. Because the warrior family that are made of men that go to war, they might go to war and not come back. Children replaces us. That is still true to today, even though we're living in concrete jungle. Even in modern warfare. Even when women are in the military, it's still true. I'm on fire. I just hope that this video I'm able to upload it in Instagram. Excuse me. Okay. Let me see if I can keep reading. This is really disturbing because it's true, and this was a report written in 1965 that holds true in this very moment. I didn't make this stuff up. You guys can say, well, he's coming from a place of hurt. No, I'm not. I already have my hurt. I adapted and I adjusted. Okay? All right. Academic sensitivity enforces and race monger denounces him. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. They chewed this man up. They came for this man when he was telling the truth. They tried to cancel him. What is called cancel culture today, they tried to do that. This is a white man. A white man. Now you got to say, well, I'm believing the white man and blah, blah, blah. This is true. All right. Let me calm down. I'm really hot. I feel like taking out my shirt, but that would be inappropriate. I got the AC on and I'm hot. I'm hot as fire, man. Academic sensitivity and enforcers and race monger denounce him as a racist who was blaming the victim. We are in a victim Olympic culture. I've never seen anywhere somebody will do wrong to you and be the victim. Only in America, man. I couldn't understand this phenomenon. I did an Instagram post complaining about this. Maybe I need to repost that. Anyway, moving on. They say he was blaming the victim. Today, 72% of African American children were born to single women. 72%. Why do we have Pookie and Ray Ray and Jamal, Devante just running wild in these streets? Why do we have, Shinene, Bunkisha, Zukisha, and all these people twerking? I don't need man. I'm getting to the bread, breaking bad. In Miami, shaking ass. Level up. The rooster will come home to roost. I'm about to do another video talking about Kudokoshi. Kudokoshi is a phenomenon happening in Japan and South Korea where people that were unmarried are dying alone. But that's beyond the scope of this video. So let me move on. Today, 72% of African American children are born to single women. 48% of firstborns of all races, ethnicities are to unmarried women. So 48% combined of all races are to unmarried women. But in the black community, it's 72%. That's almost double, if you ask me. Okay? And more than 3 million mothers under the age of 30 are not even the fathers of their children. Oops. Under the age of 30 people, 3 million people, 3 million women. 3 million women are not living with their child's fathers. So now, every time I talk to a female about stuff like this, they want to blame the man. They want to blame the man for not stepping up, for not doing this, for not doing that, for not doing this, for not doing that. For lacking this character, for lacking that character, for being a bitch ass nigga, for being a fuck boy, excuse my language. Yo. But these boys were failed because of the absence of structure and discipline. These boys were failed because of the lack of men in their lives. These boys were failed because no man was there to teach them how to be a man. Only a man teaches a man how to be a man. And I'm not saying that they're all good men that can do this job, but majority of men in their natural ingrained DNA know what it is to be a man. For us, men, we understand this concept as little toddlers. I became a man, or I started having a man's mindset because my dad was putting it into my head at the age of 5. All right, let's move on. In 1966, Sergeant Shriver, head of the President Lyndon B. Johnson War on Poverty, was asked how long it would take to win the war. This is the war on poverty, okay? This is not conventional war, bomb, killing people, taking land and resources. This is the war on poverty, okay? The conventional wisdom was John F. Kennedy, cheerful expectation that a rising economic tide would lift all boats. This is when John F. Kennedy came into power. He took over the Nixon, I believe the Nixon administration. John F. Kennedy was a charming man, God bless his soul. He was assassinated. This was the rise of liberal policy, folks. I used to be a believer in liberal policy, but then not all the policies I believed in, but I always believed in people having some form of welfare to have their feet, to stand on their feet and move on. But people stay on this welfare because they don't want to work because of the lazy mindset. But that's another video. I don't want to go out of scope. Anyway, America now knows that bad family structure defeat good economic numbers. Women, you chose the check over the man in the house. It is not sustainable. I have an ex-wife who has not worked in more than 15 years. living off of me. But I don't want to talk about it because then Dumi is hurt. He's gonna catch up. I take care of my children and I still maintain myself. I'm proud. I'm not where that I need to be, that I think I need to be, but I'm doing better than most people in this country. But I'm not gonna brag. I'm gonna put that aside. Today, a nation is dismayed by inequality and intergenerational transmission of poverty must face the truth that political scientist Lawrence Mead enunciated nearly 25 years ago. The inequalities that stem from workplace are now trivial in comparison to those stemming from family structure. What matters for success is less whether your father was rich or poor than whether you knew your father at all. Oh, I need a drink. I'm having a headache. I'm not angry. I'm just passionate. I hope you guys find this comical. But when you laugh, I hope you guys simmer down and understand the realities of life. Even those of us that are doing very well economically and in the middle class and you think we're okay, you got kids growing. If you're married with kids or if you have kids, this what I'm reading right here, you need to be scared for them. We're not always going to be there for our children. This is the reason why I'm doing this. This is one of my purposes. I have a lot of purposes that I'm focusing on. I can't change this stuff, but I can talk about it and spark conversation and get people to think and stimulate people's minds. That's why I do podcasts. I'm here to stimulate people's minds so people can think. They can think with their moral judgment. They think with common sense, logical reasoning, and make informed decisions, better choices to get better outcomes. Preach. 37 minutes. Damn. This is going to be a very big video. But anyway, let's go on. Moynihan, undaunted by his shrill critics, who stiffed debate and research, brought his barbed wit to the subject, suggesting that an important determinant of quality of American schools was their proximity to the Canadian border. Okay, this is going a little bit off of where I'm trying to go. That is high cognitive output measured by standard test correlate less with high per pupils expenditure. So the more they invest in education, that means our children are dumb. The less they invest in education, that means our children are smart. That's what that says. You guys can go read this stuff. Go read the full Moynihan report. I'm reading a synthesized Moynihan report because that's a huge report and it's nothing but bleak outcomes, especially for the Negro family. Very bleak. Very bleak. It's disturbing. And I'm talking about this because I'm affected by this. And I'm just bringing awareness to educated minds, people that will be able to think and not think with their emotions, but people that will be able to think with their brains, remove feelings. Part of being a man is to think logically, rationally, and not emotionally. Yes, we have emotional. We are emotional beings. We're not exempt. But in our thinking and making decisions and choices, we can't be emotion. We can't have emotions. Excuse me. That what makes you a man. Anyway, let me repeat that line. Moynihan, undaunted by his shrill critics, whose stiff debates and research brought his barbed weight to the subject, suggesting that important determinant of quality of American schools was proximity to the Canadian border. That is high cognitive output measured by Scandinavia, measured measured by standardized tests correlate less with higher pupils per expenditure than high percentage of two-parent families. Two-parent families is important, people, which are not scattered randomly. The election of Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, okay, was celebrated in academia as empowerment of professorate. Moynihan ruefully remembered the euphoric expectation of the direct transmission of social science into governmental policies. We still are far from fully fathoming all that has caused the social regression about which Moynihan was prescient. There has been what he called the latrogenic government, and iatrogenic ailment being one caused by physician or medicine. Some welfare policies provided perverse incentives for absence of the father. I'm gonna read this again. Pooh. He just confirmed my post. That line confirmed my post. My post was based on my personal anecdotal experience and observation, what I'm seeing around me, my own personal experience, the things that affect me, and what I'm seeing that are happening to other people that are close to me, that are what I observe in my immediate environment. That right there, that line right there confirms it. And that's government study by a former senator, the late Daniel Patrick Moynihan. I can't wait to upload this into YouTube. I hope I don't have issues uploading it to Instagram. All right, cool. I'm getting too excited. All right. So I'm going to read this stuff again. The election of Kennedy was celebrated in academia as the empowerment of professorate, full stop. Moynihan ruefully remembered the euphoric expectation of the direct transmission of social science into government policy. He was advocating that government to look at the social science. When you talk about social science, you're talking about sociology, interactions, what's going on in day-to-day society, right? Into government policies so that the policies are effective, right? We still are far from fully fathoming all that has caused the social regression. Regression is downwards, progression upwards. I'm just breaking it down. I'm not trying to make you guys think you're dumb. Okay? About which Moynihan was prescient. The things that he believed and he stand for. Okay? There has been what he called iatrogenic government and iatrogenic ailment being one caused by physicians or medicine, colon. Some welfare policies. This is where the social fucking workers come into play when they bias against the men in family court. Now, you know what? Calm down. 44 minutes. I'm hoping you guys can watch this video. It was not my intent to make this video long. So I'm going to find a way to cut it short. All right. Some welfare policies provided perverse incentives for absent fathers. But the longer Moynihan lived, the more he believed the cultural control more than incentives. So he believed that we need to control the culture of, man, I don't need no man, I don't need this dude, because most women think that the grass is greener on the other side, and this is just my personal bias, okay? So it's not fact. My personal bias, I don't need him. Worst comes to worst, I'm gonna get on Medical and Medicaid, I'm gonna get on, so the taxpayers' money, Section 8, food stamps, than to have a man in the house. Then I'm gonna take him to family court, drag his ass to family court, and get him for his money. And I just can do good all by myself. Guess what? That plan is not sustainable. You need at least $3 million to survive from the age of 65 to the age of 80 if you're gonna live that long. That's another video. Okay. Boom. The role of social science, he would write, lies not in the formulation of social policies, but in the measure of its results. This guy was a smart man. He's a smart man. I'm a fan. Not in postulating what will work, but demonstrating what does work. And increasingly, what does not work. My brain is itching. Oh, my beard, my hairs have grown now. Look at that. Oh my God. Okay, let me go ahead and round up this video. Christened by the obstinacy of things, Moynihan recalled a Harvard chemist defining the problem that exists in the physical science and perhaps in social science when Moynihan's phrasing, the number of variables interacting with one another in any given situation makes the situation extraordinary, complicated, and difficult to fathom. It's a lot of factors to really, like, this whole thing is caused by several factors. His study focused on one or two factors, or a couple of factors, but there are other factors that need to be considered. That's what he's saying right there. Okay. All right, let me finish this. Moynihan asked the chemist, at what number of a variable this problem begins? The chemist replied, 3. What are the 3 factors? Welfare. 1. Welfare caused men not to be in the house. A woman with kids cannot have a Section 8 with a man in the house. We all know that law. We all know that. The decline and the social economic status of the black man in this country, 2. 3, I will make up this one. The devalue of the black heterosexual man. That's my own variable. I don't care what you guys think. And I'm going to end this video because it's just too damn long. And I was going to provide some statistics here, but I didn't know how this video was going to be. But I'm going to cut this video short and make it part 2 or continuation from this. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I hope I stimulated your mind. I hope I stimulated your mind. Married or unmarried, baby mamas or single women. I'm going to make more videos. I'm going to touch on some sensitive topics. I'm hoping to get more people. I wish I wasn't as busy as the way I was, and I have all the equipment to do interviews and get people on Zoom and do live interviews and stuff, and people can come here and talk organically and share their perspectives. I'm not even saying that I'm right or wrong. I'm not trying to prove nobody right or wrong. I'm just bringing reality. Why am I even doing this? Because I'm affected by this. If I wasn't affected by this, I probably would do it, but maybe I might not. But I'm good, man. I'm all right. I know I'm gonna be all right. But I'm gonna end this video. I hope you guys understand the reason for my post earlier. I wasn't just talking just to talk and put people down and try to trigger people, because I've lost some friends. I won't say a lot. I lost some friends, especially female friends. I don't believe in female friends again. I don't believe that we are cool. I talk to you. I want to make sure that you're good, and I don't want to do female friends. But anyway, I'm ranting and I'm hyped. It's time for me to go to bed. It's 12:17 a.m. and I'm on fire. I could have gone on, but this video is too damn long for people to sit down and really listen to my point. So you guys have a good night and stream.